So good morning, everyone. Welcome you all to this another session of the online classes for BA Part 2 4th semester English Literature for the syllabus prescribed by Sucheta Marathe, Nagpur University, Nagpur, being organized in collaboration by Rajkumar Keval Ramani Kanya Mahavidyalaya, Jaripatka, Nagpur, Vasantrao Naik Government Institute of Arts and Social Sciences, Nagpur, Jawaharlal Nehru Arts, Commerce and Science College, Wadi, Nagpur, and Rajiv Gandhi Mahavidyalaya, Sadak Arjuni, Gondia. Friends, the resource person for the session is Madam Sucheta Marathe. Madam is professor in English and vice principal at Srimati Binjani Mahila Mahavidyalaya. She has completed her masters in 1997 and was second in the order of merit. She has one of the famous interviews of the leading novelist Anita Nair, which was published in an international journal, that is Langlit. Madam has a rich teaching experience of around 23 years and has published more than 30 research papers. A textbook, she has co-edited a textbook, A Knowledge Tree, which was prescribed for BA first and second semester of RTM Nagpur University initially, but later on it was also a part of a university in Gujarat and Ramtek University, Kavi Kalidas University at Ramtek. Ma'am is a creative writer. She has many creative writings to her credit, and she believes that learning should not be restricted to the four walls, but should be a continuous process with the proper give and take from teacher, parents, and students. Ma'am will be making a presentation on another prescribed poem, Nightingales, by Robert Bridges, and I welcome ma'am on behalf of the organizing colleges and participating students, and hand over the mic to her for her presentation. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Very good morning to everyone present here online, teachers and students alike. A word of praise and congratulations to the four organizing institutions: Rajkumar Keval Ramani Kanya Mahavidyalaya, Vasantrao Naik Government Institute of Arts and Social Sciences, Jawaharlal Nehru College of Arts, Commerce and Science, and Rajiv Gandhi Mahavidyalaya, and to the respected conveners, organizing secretaries, and organizing committee as a whole. Everything happens successfully as a team. So kudos to the whole team, and also a word of gratitude for inviting me over as a resource person for this online series, which also intends to develop valuable e-content for the students on the prescribed syllabus of RTM Nagpur University for the session 2021-22 of semester 4 English Literature. Dear students, a warm welcome to you. Today I would be taking a poem, Nightingales by Robert Bridges. I would like to initiate my session by sharing my screen. Is the screen visible, sir?
Yeah, it's visible. Yeah. It is visible.
Okay. This toolbar comes in between. I don't know how to. Okay, let me start. This is a poem by Robert Bridges, Nightingale.
Hello. Yeah, ma'am. Did you ask?
I don't know why this toolbar comes in between.
Yeah. Everything is fine. Your voice is clear.
If
It is visible.
your end it is good, but there's a toolbar coming in between. I cannot see my whole screen.
Ma'am, slideshow and beginning from the beginning.
It is slideshow, but this toolbar comes in between. Where to place it? I will place it down.
Just a
Hopefully,
minute.
it won't come in between them.
Should I remove this one?
Uh,
Just a minute, ma'am.
Are
Now,
you able to see now?
is it? Yeah.
Yes, yes, I have kept it down. Hopefully, it remains there. I can begin now. No, it
But
comes.
that's not seen here on the screen.
I'll do it this way. Is it okay?
That's fine here.
Uh,
Go for slideshow and from beginning.
yeah.
Yeah,
When
that's
I do
done. Yeah.
slideshow, a big toolbar
And
comes in between.
beginning,
I mean,
yeah.
previously it was not there when we tested. That is why I cannot see what is there on the screen. Try once, or otherwise I will do this way only. Robert Bridges was an English poet who was poet laureate from 1913 to 1930. He was a doctor by training. He achieved literary fame only late.
Ma'am, if you can increase your volume a bit.
Yes.
If there is any scope for increasing your volume a bit. Can you?
Cannot hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but a bit more will make it more. In fact.
It is 100%. I mean, I
Yeah.
have this
Okay.
on this other laptop. I should. This won't increase the volume. Can you give me 5 minutes? I can change the laptop. Hello.
Ma'am, it is fine. There's nothing problematic about that.
Huh.
Yeah. The only thing was if there can be a bit increase in volume. If it is not, if it's not, that is fine. It is audible. No
It's
problem.
audible, no? Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, in 2 minutes, I can change the laptop. I can take my son's. Okay. Let me begin afresh. Sorry for the technical difficulties which are always there in this online screenings. I will be dealing with the poem Nightingales by Robert Bridges. And Robert Bridges was an English poet who was a poet laureate from 1913 to 1930. He was basically a doctor by training, and he achieved literary fame only late in his life. His poems reflect a deep Christian faith, and he is the author of many well-known hymns. He was born on 23rd of October and he died on 21st of April 1930. So Robert Bridges was a classicist. His experimentation with 18th century classical forms culminated in the Testament of Beauty. His book tells about his experiments on classicism, and it is generally acknowledged as his masterpiece. He succeeded Alfred Austin as Poet Laureate of the United Kingdom in 1913 and was active in the Society for Pure English, which was founded largely through his efforts. He had an important friendship and correspondence with Gerard Manley Hopkins. His edition of Hopkins' poem is considered a major contribution to English literature. So he was a poet laureate, and the one thing that the Testament of Beauty he published, and the other thing which he did is that posthumously he published the poems of Gerard Hopkins, which was a great contribution to English literature. Now, this is the poem which I would be dealing with, and let me read it the first time. Beautiful must be the mountains whence ye come, and bright in the fruitful valleys the streams, where form ye learn your song. Where are those starry woods? Oh, might I wander there? In the heavenly air bloom the year along. Nay, barren are those mountains and spent the streams. Our song is the song of voice of desire that haunts our dreams, a throe of the heart. whose pining visions dim, forbidden hopes profound, no dying cadence nor long sigh can sound. For all our art, alone aloud in the raptured ear of men, we pour our dark nocturnal secret, and then as night is withdrawn for these sweet springing meads and bursting boughs of May, dream while the innumerable choir of day welcome the dawn. Now, this poem has a myth behind it, and that is Procne and Philomela were sisters and daughters of King of Athene. They were given in marriage to Tereus, who was the king of Thracias and who had helped the king of Athens. Now, Tereus, however, was in love with Philomela, and we have seen this in so many of the Hindi films. So this is the myth behind the poem, and he seduced her after telling her that Procne was dead. He also tore Procne's tongue, but Procne wove a message for her sister into a robe. Philomela helped her sister escape from Tyria's prison. Procne killed and cooked their son Itis. This is very, very horrible to think of. Even though she wanted to take a revenge about the injustice done to her sister, she killed her own son, who was born from Tyrius, and she served it to him. And when Tereus came to know what has happened, that his own son has been cooked and given to him, he pursued the two sisters and for killing them with an axe. But the benevolent gods changed them into birds. And Philomela became Nightingale and Procne became the swallow. I mean, in the Greek mythology, this is there, and the changes are there in Roman mythology. So this is the scene where the two sisters are serving the head of their Tereus' son to him as part of the revenge of the injustice done. The poem is divided into two parts. It's a short poem, but it is divided into two parts. The whole poem is made of three stanzas. The first stanza is the voice of a typical romantic person who believes that Nightingale belongs to some heavenly place, and their song expresses their joy and cheerfulness. The second part is the voice of the Nightingale as they tell the poet the sadness behind their songs. The Nightingale always has been associated with romanticism, and we have learned the poem by Ode to Nightingale by Keats, where he, is envious of the nightingale because it is very, very happy, and he feels that the happiness of the bird is very, very perfect because it doesn't know the fume and the fret of this world, and therefore she doesn't even know the sadness. Her life is full of joyous songs. But it is not so, we come to know from the poem, because Robert Bridges here presents the other side of the story. Even though the song of the nightingale appears to us as joyous, but here he tells us why it is joyous and how it is actually not joyous. So there are some facets, some reality of the song of the nightingale is brought about here. The first stanza, let me begin with the first stanza. Beautiful must be the mountains whence ye come, and bright in the fruitful valleys the streams wherefrom ye learn your song. Where are those starry woods? Oh, might I wander there among the flowers which in that heavenly air bloom the year long. So the poem begins with a very, very beautiful image. The poem is full of imagery presented by the poet, and the first stanza itself is, presents before us a very beautiful imagery. All of us have been there to some mountainous places, some beautiful scenic places, and the picture of whatever we have seen, that is the success of the poets through their words, through their apt words, through the use of their beautiful words. They create an imagery before us, and Robert Bridges has been successful to create such a beautiful, such a clear vision before us of mountainous region where there is spring, where there are fruits abound, There are valleys full of streams, and this is what he says. Now, in the first stanza, he's talking to the nightingale. And what does he question? Robert Bridges says that I think you come from the mountains, which are very, very beautiful. Beautiful must be the mountains. This is his, hypothesis. This is what he feels, that yes, because you're singing such a beautiful song. Yes, students, all of you must have been to some mountainous place. So naturally, the scenes and the photos or the postcards you must have seen, that scene naturally comes before your eyes. So beautiful must be the mountains whence ye come. So the poet is talking to the nightingale and says that the mountains must be very beautiful from where you are coming. They must be very scenic and bright. And now see, brightness, light is always associated with happiness, and bright in the fruitful valleys. So each word talks about happiness, talks about fullness, talks about abundance, and brightness is there. The valleys are full of fruits, the valleys are full of greenery, the streams. So water is also there. This is the elixir of life. And bright in the fruitful valleys, the streams. And naturally, on the streams, the sun is shining. The valleys are shining with lit with sunshine. The water is shining because of the reflection of the sun. So the whole picture is coming before our eyes. And wherefore ye learn your song. So have you picked up your song? Have you learned your song because of the beautiful blessings of nature from where you come? Where are those starry birds? Now he pictures the night, and there the night must be very clear, full of stars. Where are those starry birds? Oh, might I wander there? And
अनिल क्या हाल है?
as Keats wants to fly, escape along with the nightingale. In the same way, here Robert Bridges says that, do I have a chance of going there? Or might I wander there? So where are those starry birds? Can I go there? Can I be there, a tourist? And can I visit the place from where you come? Among the flowers which in that heavenly air bloom the year along. So he says that the whole year there is no summer. There is no autumn, maybe from where you come. So all the year around the flowers are blooming. All the year around there is spring. All the years around there is flower. There is green leaves. There is greenery all along. So this is what he feels and which he has put in the first stanza. Now in the second stanza, you see that the nightingale is giving a reply. So this we have not known all these years. We as literature students have always felt that the nightingale comes from a land which is full of happiness, or the nightingale song is full of happiness. But here in the second stanza, the nightingale is giving the poet the reply, and that reply is nay. Nay, that means no. That is Old English, students. Nay, barren are those mountains. So you see that fertility was there in the first stanza, which the poet talks about. And here it is quite the opposite picture. And the nightingale is giving the reply that nay, barren are those mountains and spent the streams. That means, see, you can see in the picture, there is no greenery on the mountains. There are no flowers, there are no trees, nothing. So from the land where I come, actually it is not a happy place. The nightingale tells the poet. Spent, that means all the streams have dried up. Nay, barren are those mountains and spent the stream. A song is the voice of desire. And uh, the she's answering to the poet's question, and she says that no, the mountains are barren, the streams are spent, and our our song is the voice of desire. It is not of something which you have got, something, the dreams which you have been fulfilled. Actually, it is a haunting song of desire that haunts our dreams. Our dreams are unfulfilled. We are not happy. So it is a very wrong notion in the hearts of mankind that the nightingale bird is happy and the song is of happiness. And here she breaks our belief She cracks our, believe that the song of the nightingale is full of happiness, a throw of the heart. She says that her heart, in her heart resides a permanent wound, and therefore her heart always finds it is a desire of unfulfillment, and she is always sad. And actually, her song is about that unfulfilled dream, whose pining visions dim, forbidden hopes profound. And he says that we have hopes, but these pining visions, the pangs of our heart, they dim our hopes. They dim the capacity of seeing dreams. We are so sad that it is not possible for us to see dreams. We know that they may not be fulfilled. No dying cadence nor long sigh can sound for all our hour. And another sadness which the poet, which the nightingale shares with the poet, it says that with all our songs which we have been singing, still it is, the limitation of our art, limitation of our potential, that we have not been able to convey the sadness of our heart. So our art has not been able to convey the sadness to you, to mankind. So all of the time you felt that we were happy. So even our art is not under our control, and we have not been able to convey the real emotions behind our song. So this is the second stanza, which is quite opposite to the first. The poet in the first picture uh, presents a very rosy picture of a land from where the nightingale bird is coming. And in the second, from the horse's mouth, that is from the nightingale bird itself, she speaks to the poet and she says that all these things are wrong. The notions in your minds are wrong. We do not come from a land which is full of happiness or fraternity, but actually all the mountains are barren there, and all our song is of desire. The third stanza also again speaks of the nightingale's sadness. Alone, aloud in the raptured ear of men, we pour our dark nocturnal secret, and then as night is withdrawn from these sweet springing meads and bursting boughs of May, dream while the innumerable choir of day welcome the dawn. Now she says she's alone at night. All the birds, they retire in the evening and they sleep. It is the nightingale who pines and sings her sad song at night. She's alone and loudly she speaks in the ears of men about her sadness. But sadly, that emotion of sadness has not been able to be conveyed to the people. We pour a dark nocturnal secret. That is the secret which now today she is telling us, that actually the nightingale is very, very sad. She has had a tragedy, and that tragedy is a permanent tragedy and she cannot come out of it. She yearns for her son, and that night is, as night is withdrawn from these sweet springing meads and bursting boughs of May. So the day is about to come, as if about the dream is about to be realized, but then there is a limit. The bird cannot enter that dream, the realization of dream. Only it can see the dreams, but that too dim. Yes, that is what the nightingale says. But as soon as there is an announcement of dawn, what does the nightingale do? It retreats, it goes back, and it again dreams of impossible things which cannot happen in its life from these sweet springing leaves. And as the day dawns, it can see the greenery, it can see the sweet springing fields, but then it has to beat a retreat. It has to go in the background because it cannot become a part of the day. It cannot become a part of light. It cannot become a part of happiness. It retreats in the night. It's hids somewhere, and the innumerable choir of day. That means as soon as there is dawn, students, we see that there is chirping of birds. And so many birds we see, as soon as there is dawn, they become active. They flow from here to there and they carry on their morning work. But as soon as this choir, as soon as the nightingale sees these birds appear in the sky, as soon as it hears their sound, what does it do? It's itself. It doesn't see the dawn. It is just a night bird. It is like a background artist, doing its work. And people all the while, they didn't understand the art of nightingale. They thought that the nightingale was very, very happy. It was singing about some joyous song, about some very good land from where she is coming. And still, uh, it is in the process of trying to make the people understand that actually it is very sorrowful, and it is trying to convey its sadness through its art, through the song. So, this is a recap. In the first stanza, the poet believes that Nightingale must come from a place surrounded by beautiful mountains, fertile valleys, and streams. He believes that they must have learned their song from all these beautiful natural objects. They must be living in a forest where stars twinkle all the night. He wants to visit all those places where flowers bloom throughout the day. In the second stanza, the nightingale tells the poet the whole truth. They tell the poet that they do not live in a place surrounded by beautiful mountains or streams. Yes, that is the shattering of the myth of the poet. Through its own voice, through its own answer, the nightingale shatters the myth of the poet and the myth of all of us. They live in a place surrounded by barren mountains and dry streams. This is the actual reality. They tell that their song expresses their unsatisfied desires and frustrations. They tell the poet that people believe that they sing out of joy. Their song mainly arises from their forbidden hopes and unfulfilled dreams. But it is not song of joy, it is song of unfulfilled dreams and hopes. Their songs are not able to convey the agony of their heart to the world. This is another sadness of the birds, that their song is not able to convey their true emotions, so their grief is endless. They tell the poet that throughout the night they keep on singing the dark secret of their life. When the night comes to an end, the darkness disappears from fragrant meadows. A large number of birds wake up and start twittering. The birds welcome the day by their sweet chirping, but at that time the nightingale stops singing. Morning is beginning for other birds, but it is end for the nightingales. They go to sleep and are lost in their silent dreams. By their fate, they are bound to this condition. What the poet is trying to say here is that the art of nightingale is not able to express their feelings. The last two lines suggest that the more ordinary birds who greet the sunrise are the ones that are really joyful. The total impression of the poet is anti-romantic. So we see these two binary opposites, like romanticism in the first stanza, like where the poet visualizes a very happy land from where the nightingale is coming, and anti-romanticism in the next two stanzas, where actually the poet shatters the myth of the poet and tells that actually it is the barren mountains from where she is coming. And let us see what is the rhyme scheme the poet has used. In the first stanza, which is repeated, that is A, A, B, C, C, B, and the same is repeated D, D, E, F, F, E, G, G, H, I, I, J. So this is the rhyme scheme which is repeated, and it is meticulously repeated in the three stanzas. And overall, we see that a lot of imagery has been used by the poet, and the poem is strongly based on the myth and the sadness of the nightingale because of the myth. So the correlation between the nightingale and the myth is very, very strong. It is because of the myth and the unhappiness and the tragedy which happens, which because of which Philomela is converted into a bird, into a nightingale, and that sadness is still there in the song of the nightingale, which the poet talks about. So a lot of imagery has been used. It is imagery of the happy mountains, the happy streams, the sunlit streams and mountains. Then in the second stanza, we have the barren mountains, the spent up streams, and the walled mountains. And in the third stanza, we have the imagery of the night, where the poet, the nightingale is pouring the secrets of the heart. And then we have the image of the dawn, where we see that the birds, other birds, they are getting up and they are going for their morning work. They are chirping, they are happy, but the nightingale is unhappy and it goes back into its hiding place. So this is all you have. It's a quite simple poem and it's an enjoyable poem, and a lot of questions can be asked on its imagery and the two voices which have been used. It is a sort of conversation between the nightingale and the poet. So I think the explanation has been pretty simple for you. Uh, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me a chance here to be a resource person for this poem. Thank you. Thank you so much again, all of you.
Thank you, madam. It was a wonderful session. I am here to propose formal vote of thanks. First of all, I am thankful to Dr. Sucheta Vyas, Madam, Director, Vasantrao Naik Government Institute of Arts and Social Sciences. I am also thankful to all the principals of organizing colleges, Dr. Dabir Madam, Dr. Borkar Madam, and Dr. Gaikwad Sir for organizing these online classes for BA Part 2 Semester 4 in English Literature 2021-22. I wholeheartedly thank the Chief Coordinator, Dr. Kapil Singhal Sir, and other coordinators. I express a deep sense of gratitude to today's resource person, Dr. Sucheta Marathe Madam, for delivering such a wonderful session on the poem Nightingale, Robert Bridges. Madam has explained how the poem refers to the Greek myth of Philomela, who was raped by her sister's husband, who cut off her hands and tongue so that she could not tell her sister what had happened, and how she was then turned into a nightingale that could only sing at night when most people are asleep and unable to hear her tell her sad story. Thank you so much, madam. Certainly, the student must have immensely benefited by your talk. I'm grateful to all the faculty members and students of various colleges who have attended this session. Thank you so much. And with the consent of the chair, I declare that today's session is over and we will meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Leena. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, Singhal sir.
Thank you, ma'am, both of you.
Thank you, sir.